What's up? It's your boy Kazi, Kazi Plays, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to play White Fox in today's guide. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start things off, let's first talk about her role. White Fox, aka Amihan, is a off support, and what that means is that they're a character that can heal, but healing is not their strong suit. For example, think of a character like Mantis, where they can output a bunch of healing, but it isn't as strong as somebody like, for example, Invisible Woman, where they can output a lot more healing. So keep in mind, you wouldn't want to pair up White Fox with somebody like Jeff or Ultron. You want to go for somebody that is a main healer, like for example like Invis, that has a stronger healing output. White Fox is not one of those supports that just sits in the back line and just heal bots, and trust me, if you do try to play her like that, you're not going to get anywhere, because she actually has the capabilities of being able to brawl with enemies at times. So being able to balance between healing from the back line and switching to brawl when needs to is going to be the challenging part. And also, White Fox does not have the ability to heal herself without tapping into some of her resources, so positioning is going to be key and is very crucial when playing her. Moving on, let's go over her abilities. First things first, if you take a look on my screen under the crosshair, you can see there are these three tail icons, and how they work is that for some of my abilities, they either use one or all of these tails in order to activate these abilities. And don't worry, they do regenerate over time, but if you do want to speed up the process, you can either heal or do damage. Her primary works similar to Moon Knight, where it bounces off of allies or enemies and can also bounce off the ground as well. But there is no piercing, so you do have to hit allies or enemies at an angle to catch multiple. And also on top of that, the healing output is a lot higher when you hit the allies directly compared to hitting it off of the ground. Her first ability, she shoots out a fox that has a piercing effect that heals allies and it makes them temporarily invulnerable, and also it does damage enemies and it charms them. And essentially what it means to charm them is that it will stun them for a quick second and make them look at you. And yes, this does cancel most ultimates like Scarlet, Star-Lord. It's just all about timing. Her next ability allows you to teleport to an ally and the target gets to shoot around them, and any allies in the area also gets hit with a wave of healing. And yes, this ability does allow you to teleport through walls too. Her next ability is a transformation that gives AoE healing. It changes all of her abilities and her primary, and all damage is converted into healing. Her primary becomes slashes. One of her ability becomes a dash that when it connects you flip and you can kidnap an enemy, and then she has a tail whip. And finally, her ultimate, she transforms into a giant fox that has AoE healing, and every time that she slams the ground, as long as it hits an enemy, it will heal you and your allies. And also you can choose one ally to give them more healing to make them CC immune and give them lifesteal. But do keep in mind though that you are not able to be healed in this form by anybody else except yourself. White Fox also gives Luna a team up where she can shoot out a fox that has a piercing effect that heals allies and gives her a speed boost, and also damages enemies and charms them as well. Before we continue, if you have made it this far into the video and want to dive further into the community, I do got a Discord, link will be in the description below. There we talk about Marvel Rivals, anime, manga, and whatnot. So if you're interested, feel free to stop by. We'll love to have you. Moving on, let's go over her crosshair. So how this crosshair works is that the little cross in the middle with the dot is to help with aiming with your primary, and the white outer circle is to help you with aiming with your Spirit Fox, because as long as the enemy is within this circle, they will get hit by the Spirit Fox. Here are all the settings for the crosshair. Go ahead and pause the video at any time you want to, so you can go ahead and copy these down. And finally, let's go over her playstyle. In neutral, you need to focus on getting your Spirit Tails charged up, and also keep an eye out for where your other support is at, because remember, you have no sustainability, so staying close to them is going to help keep you alive. And also you do want to play at an off angle, because remember, you don't have a piercing effect with your healing, so you need to go at an off angle so you can have that bounce effect with your orbs to heal multiple allies. Now that you have your Spirit Tails charged up, what you can do is that if a tank or somebody gets too close to you, you can go ahead and pop your Awakening, dash at them, and take them into your backline so the rest of your teammates can finish them off. This ability alone brings White Fox so much value to the team, and you need to take advantage of it. And sure, it is a lot easier to do it on yourself, but you can also try to do it on your teammates as well. For example, like let's say one of your DPSs or one of your tanks is getting put too much pressure on them, you can try to hide behind them and then go ahead and dash and take the enemy back as well. I have done that before. It is a bit harder and takes some timing, but it does work. And even without doing that strategy, going into your awakening form and brawling beside your team, because remember, you do have the AoE effect, and also doing damage does heals your allies as well. That does also help and make it a lot easier for the rest of your team to get kills, because there is one extra person doing damage to the enemies. And as a last resort, you can use the dash in your awakening to get away, but that is something you shouldn't have to rely on, and if anything, rely more on your teleport. Speaking of your teleport, you usually just want to use it to teleport to allies when they're low, but you can also use it as a get out of jail card. If the enemy is putting too much pressure to you, you can go ahead and teleport to one of your other allies. One thing though that I have noticed that a lot of people aren't doing with the teleport is to protect their other supports from ultimates. For example, let's say a Cloak and Dagger is using their ultimate and an Iron Man or a Magneto is trying to kill them. You can go ahead and teleport to your Cloak and Dagger and put that shield on them to protect them. And with that, you just made the enemies waste ultimates on your other support while just using just one of your abilities. Another thing is that you want to try to be in your awakening as much as possible, because that's how you put out the most healing, is with the awakening. Sure, you can do some healing with your primary, but it doesn't have the same impact as your awakening. When figuring out the best way to use White Fox's ultimate, I found out that there's mostly 3 ways to use it. 1, you go ahead and use it to help the team make a big push. 2, you go ahead and use it to help make a ultimate stronger. For example, like Star-Lord ultimate or Scarlet ultimate, to make it where that they are CC immune, which means they can't be cancelled out of that ultimate, and also the extra healing does make it harder for the enemies to kill them. And 3, you can also use it as a counter ultimate, but I wouldn't recommend it if it's in an ultimate like for example Dagger or Invis, because the enemies will just burst you down. But it is more so like a last resort just to keep your team alive. But don't worry though, because even though you do die in your ultimate, you don't die yourself. It's more so a Bruce Banner situation where the Fox is essentially like a second life, so you are able to get away if you need to, and also it does heal you back to full HP when you do transform into the ultimate. Also, do keep in mind that when you are in the ultimate, you are able to be hit by stuns and grabs because you are not CC immune. So you do have to play a bit smart when you are deciding on when to pop her ultimate. And that's everything on how to play White Fox. If I did leave something out or you did discover something new, feel free to put it in the comments below to share with everyone else to help each other out. And yeah, if you do want more Marvel Rivals on the channel, why don't you know, go ahead and support your boy. I'll go ahead and catch y'all in the next one. Y'all take it easy.